Lethal Company's monsters are known for their scariness and funny kills, but what makes these monsters scary and life-threatening, and a huge factor that people leave out about them, is their intelligence. The smarter a monster is, the smarter you have to be to live from its tactics to end your run.
No way! You're lying.
As of this patch update 69, there are 26 monsters in the game. I'm going to be ranking them from 1 to 26 based on how smart they are. I'm going to base their intelligence off of 3 main factors. First is their behavior, second is their known techniques, so how they kill you and what they use to kill you, and third is how good they seem to be at using their techniques to accomplish their goals. To visualize how the intelligence of each monster looks, I'll also put the monsters into tiers from stupid tier to genius tier. I've done this same type of ranking for monsters based on scariness, so if you're curious on how that looks, go check out that video. If you also want to see more funny moments like in the clips you're going to see in the background, go check out the 2 funny moments videos I made after this ranking, of course. Alright, let's just get into it. The stupidest monster in Lethal Company. At the 26th spot, starting off the stupid tier, I have the roaming locust. These bugs don't do anything but, like the name says, roam. They just float around in spots, they aren't hostile and don't kill you, and their only actions are just moving out the way when you walk into their space, and collecting back into that spot once you move. Lil bro activities like that put them in last place. At the 25th spot, I have the Manticoil. It has the same issues as the Locust, except these things don't really care about you that much. They act like normal birds, doing their own thing, flying around and hanging out in trees or on the ground. They don't do anything that shows much intelligence, which lands them in this spot. At the 24th spot, and the first aggressive mob, I have the Hygridir. This water blob thingy is a threat only because other monsters, and even in that instance, it does not do that purposefully. It just covers a wide area and follows you around hoping you fall into its body where you drown. It does have the ability to drown you, but it has no tactics to actually kill you, so it's clearly not that smart. You just happen to die to it because of its wide area and large body. For the 23rd spot, I have the Spore Lizard. This creature can spit out purple gas to blind you and protect itself, but it doesn't really do it until you're super close to it. The gas doesn't hurt you, but if you get too close to the Spore Lizard, it can bite you in self-defense, even though you can't hurt it. It's scared of you and backs off and makes noise. It is mainly higher than the previous 2 because it can defend itself. At the 22nd spot, and the smartest of the stupid tier, I have the Thumper. The Thumper is very strong and fast and has good instincts, but the thing about it is that's all it has. If you move them arms and lock in, they can easily be evaded by just turning corners. If there's no walls, you're cooked though. It will accelerate until it gets a hit on you or bumps into a wall, so as long as there's corners, you play your cards right and don't get lost, you can live. It's hard, but you can live. The Thumper is super good at killing you with its speed and bites, but these methods to get you are very simple, and it lets anyone know where it's at when it lets out its loud roar. It's strong, it's scary, it's not smart. The next few spots are the Dum Dum tier. These monsters are smarter than the previous spots, but still dummies. At the 21st spot, I have the Tulip Snakes. They're pretty good at lashing onto you with their leaps, but they're easy to dodge when you know the timing and can strafe their jumps. On their own, they're not a threat at all, but once 2 or 3 of them are on your head top, they work together to take you into the air and try and kill you from fall damage. The thing is, they suck at killing you like this. If anything, they help you move around the map faster because you can control where you go. At worst, they're a nuisance that wastes your time. They want you dead but don't really accomplish the job that well, hence the placement. At the number 20 spot, I have the Earth Leviathan. This thing is not that smart, but it's good at what it does. This worm stays buried underground and tracks a player, then pops up out of the ground Naruto clone style. Besides that, it does not do anything special. It has one trick and is pretty good at that one trick, but the popping out of the ground isn't as smart in the worm's case because it's very telegraphed. At the 19th spot, I have the Circuit Bees. The bees really only know 2 things, sitting on their hives and crashing out. They're really good at both of these things. A bunch of insects working together to probably make, actually, I don't know if these bees make honey. I think they just make electricity or something, but their crash outs are pretty coordinated and effective, but can easily be outsmarted if you know how to get past the hives. Thumb tier. For the 18th spot, I have the Eyeless Dog. The dog is nerfed by the fact that it does not have eyes, but it's buffed in its very good sense of hearing. If your keyboard is too loud or your chair is too squeaky, you're cooked. The counter is extremely simple, which is just to crouch and not say a word, but it's easy to also slip up. The dog doesn't do anything but listen and run at any noises it hears, so it lunges at anything, which can work in your favor. Its methods aren't anything special, but it's extremely good at its hunting method. It's like Ash and Pikachu's Thunderbolt or Naruto and his Rasengan. You know, one trick, it's a really good trick and it works, but that's the only thing they have. The epitome of dummy. For the 17th spot, I have the Maneater. And at the top of the dummy tier for a reason, because it's like the dog, but like to the max, because this thing can actually see. The Maneater is just a little baby, so it does just crawl around the place and it just wants attention, wants to be taken care of. But when it does not get what it wants, it knows how to get what it wants, or it just kills you. It turns into a man from a baby and it heats you up just like the name says. So Maneater, 17th spot, is really just a dummy, but it's very crazy at killing you, which is a good way to wrap off the dummy tier. The next tier of monsters are the average IQ monsters. They aren't dumb and have some actual strategies for how to try and kill you, but they're only like 100 IQ in their methods. Nothing too special. For the 16th spot, I have the Forest Keeper. This thing is similar to the dog in that it only has really good eyesight. The reason these two are in different spots is because the Forest Keeper has a specific goal of trying to kill you for some reason. The dog just lunges at anything it hears in game. The Forest Keeper will camp your ship outside the factory and relentlessly search for you to eat you alive. It's a one trick with a goal, and it's really good at that one trick. The Maneater at the end of the day is just a baby, so it just wanders around with no goal, but the Forest Keeper knows what it's doing, which is what separates it from me. For the 15th spot, I have the Barber. The Barber searches the entire building to give you a shape up with the sharpest scissors in the company. He has skill in the fact that he can operate massive scissors, and extra mechanic it has is that it's invisible until it's within killing range, but I don't know if that it controls that power or if it's just the nature of its existence that makes it invisible, so I can't really have it have more IQ because of that invisibility, so I think this is a good spot to keep it around. It roams around until it sees you and then it starts chasing you. Its behavior is simple, but it does carry around a giant pair of scissors and knows how to give you a clean cut with them. So because of this, I'm gonna have it at the 15th spot. At the 14th spot, I have the Coilhead. The Coilhead is one of the strongest monsters in the game, but its game plan is simple. It's fast and wants to sneak up on you while you're not looking. If it was killable, it would be easy to get rid of them since when you look at them, they stop moving and don't hurt you, but you can't, so it becomes infinitely more dangerous. It roams just like the Barber, and once it finds you, it is very on point to know when you're looking at it, and it'll pop your head out and put a spring on your neck when it kills you. I think its tactics and methods for killing are more smart than the Barber, so I'll give it a spot above. At the number 13 spot, I have the Snare Flea. I'll stay dying on this hill that this is an underrated monster. Though I won't put it high IQ because I'm not that crazy like I did with the other tier list. Yeah, I put it at the top. But anyways, the Snare Flea hides on the ceilings and waits until someone walks under it to jump on their head and wrap around your head. It has a strong grip and moves back and forth around to suffocate the player. If you're solo, the best way to beat it are to avoid it or walk out and exit once it's on you. But if you have a friend, they can hit it off of you. If players are not falling for the trap or if it misses, it will relocate to a more dangerous spot. It has some strategy and it has technique to kill you. Because of that, I think number 13 is a good spot for it. At the number 12 spot, I have the Jester. The Jester hides its true intentions in the form of being a jack-in-the-box with legs. It looks innocent, but it really just wants to kill you. It will follow you around and act neutral until it starts winding up. It will attempt to block your path and then start to wind up. Once it reaches this state, it's unstoppable. It tracks you down extremely fast and kills you faster than you hit the like button, which is really fast. The Jester has some trickery to it, but its game plan after is really simple. Just charge at you and kill you. It's nothing special, but it's unstoppable when it's in this state. And trying to trick you to get into this unstoppable mode is what puts it near the top of the averages. For 11th spot, I have the Hoarding Bug. It may not be as strong as the bees or the dog or the Jester, but its natural behavior is a lot smarter than them. The Hoarding Bug roams around the building looking for loot just like a player and stores everything it finds in one spot. When there are more Hoarding Bugs, they also collaborate to get all the loot they can in one spot. If you're too close to it, you get jumped for no reason because they're a bit crazy, but it's also self-defense in a way. If you touch the loot it worked for, it also defends that loot by attacking you. So it has goals, social skills, and can defend itself. Hey, so it has some smarts to it, but it's more simply minded compared to the next tier up. Though it could be placed there, you could argue for it, but I want the top 10 to be the next 2 tiers. So I'm gonna keep it at the top of the regular IQ tier. This tier had skill or plans to them, but were nothing special. Within the next tier, there actually be something special to their plans or behavior, and they will be good at executing these things, which is why they're in the smart tier. Starting off the top 10, I have in the number 10 spot, the Baboon Hawk. It's similar to the Hoarding Bug in that it collects loot and stores it. It waits outside to collect loot, bring it back, and reap its rewards in its nest. If it catches you lacking, it will press you until you drop your loot, since it's decently fast. It does not have a crazy amount of health, so it will stalk around you until more of its kind come around and they'll jump you together. They attack with the spines on their heads, which they use to impale you. Like the Hoarding Bug, they have social skills and are able to use these skills to up their lethality. They also use the same tendency to collect loot and have their own home. I think their social skills are a bit stronger than the Hoarding Bug, and their methods to kill are a bit more skillful than just ramming their body into you. They know how to retreat when attacking, doesn't seem optimal for them. So the Baboon Hawk will be one spot above at the number 10 in the smart tier. For the 9th spot, I have the Bunker Spider. The spider actually has strategy and uses its playbook to try and catch you lacking with its webs. It will place itself on a wall between the maze and the entrance and place webs everywhere to make it hard for you to escape its trap. The spider one-shots you but moves slow. Using webs, which are very effective at slowing you down, is a smart move to complement its physical attributes. It also doesn't just attack you for no reason most of the time. If you enter its territory or get caught in its webs, it will start to chase you. Otherwise, it will stay relaxed on a wall somewhere. For the 8th spot, I have the Bracken. The Bracken is like a smarter version of the Coilhead. It sneaks up behind you when you're not looking. It can stand on 2 legs and move on all 4 to move faster. It can move on all 4 to sneak up on you quickly and then twist your neck, breaking it and killing you instantly. It never fails with this technique, and if it does get caught, it will back up into the shadows. When it does kill an employee, it will take their body to the room farthest from the exit, so the body will be hard to get to. It's hard to tell where the Bracken is because it's always hiding within the shadows. All that you can see are its eyes. When it does back up, it will be close by and stalk you until you look away long enough. The Bracken is more careful than the Coilhead because it actually can be killed, so it's harder to get close to it. If you look long enough at the Bracken, it will take this as a sign of aggression and attack you, and a majority of the time it is killing you easily before you can fight back. The Bracken has so many behaviors that it makes it hard to deal with, and obviously one of the smartest monsters in the game. At the number 7 spot, I have the Masked or the Mimic. Whatever this thing is, it looks exactly like a player. It wants to grab you and take over your body. To do this, it acts like a player. It walks around with the same footsteps, so hearing them sounds just like hearing one of your teammates. This is dangerous, especially because there are a lot of conditions in this game where you won't be able to see their face. You barely see the outline of another player, so you leave yourself more vulnerable to them thinking it's a player. Then all of a sudden, they aggro sprint at you and you have to hope that you have more stamina than them. They're also one of the few monsters that can go onto the ship and in and out of the building. They don't just roam around too, they know how to hide. You might go back to the ship thinking it's sweet, then not notice there's a Mimic in your bed on the ship in a corner crouched. I think these methods are one of the smartest, and the Mimic is really good at doing these things. So the number 7 spot is deserving for the Mimic. For the number 6 spot, I have the Kidnapper Fox. Although it's not in the game anymore, this is one of the smartest monsters. It has a lot of conditions it needs to meet in order to kill people. It only shows up in areas that have plants that it can hide in for hunting and inhabiting. It has low health, so when it kills, it doesn't do so in the open, since it can die easily. It stalks around the area looking for people to grab with its tongue and drag into the bushes and eat. It has a hunting call it uses to intimidate prey and knows when to back up when you could be approaching it dangerously. If its habitat is grown in an area that is hard to get past, you're pretty much in checkmate. The fox's ability to control space is enough to be the smartest of the smart tier, but not enough to be in the top 5 or the genius tier. That wraps up the smart tier, and here's the top 5 which are going to be in the genius tier. These monsters all do something uniquely smart and are the best at doing the certain type of behavior or strategy. At the number 5 spot, I have the Nutcracker. The Nutcracker only wants one thing, and that's to Swiss cheese anything that it can see. It knows how to operate a shotgun, and it knows how to lethally kick you to death with one kick. The Nutcracker patrols around areas looking for you to kill you. The thing is, it's really loud, so it does give away its position, but it has both close range attacks and long range attacks to make up for this. With all this, it doesn't sound like the Nutcracker is all intelligent, but there's a detail very important about it, and it's that the Nutcracker is actually a separate creature that is controlling some sort of suit. Whatever this creature is that controls the Nutcracker is very intelligent, because it can control the Nutcracker shell thingy or robot mech or whatever the outside thing that's being controlled is, and operate the gun from the inside, scan for players, and spray them pellets when they're shooting people up. For the number 4 spot, I have the Ghost Girl. Although a lot of her actions are from supernatural powers, she still uses them very effectively. She stalks every player on the moon and analyzes their behaviors. She picks out the one person who has the most paranoid behavior and then starts to alter their senses, deafening their hearing and showing her presence only to them periodically. The psychological tricks she can play on the players distracts them to give her time to physically appear and decimate the bodies in one shot. Her game plan is very similar to the Jester, but way more effective and lethal. When she does physically appear, it is impossible to escape her, but you can outrun her, but you can't do so forever. Once she reads your mind and deems you worthy of being a victim, it's over. For the third smartest monster in the game, I have the Butler. The Butler at first glance looks like an upstanding, meticulous blobfish who looks after the building, and when you're with others, he keeps up impressions. He handles his broom with grace and skill. Then once you're alone, it's up. Things are not sweet anymore. He stores away the broom and pulls out a shank UK style and stabs you to death. It's got good technique with it too. The Butler has social awareness in knowing how to behave when multiple people are around and activate when you're alone. The Butler has very clear goals and it does them well. It keeps the mansion or factory clean and it will murder you while you're alone and there's no one there to hear it. So that's why it's at number 3. For the number 2 spot is a monster that is a bit meta. It's these bugs. Psych, I already put them at the bottom for a reason. It's actually the mask hornets, still bugs, but the bugs inside the Butler. I put them here because the Butler is actually a rotting corpse, which is why it looks like that. The mask hornets pretty much puppet the Butler. So not only are they doing everything the Butler does, but doing it by puppeteering. They also can still kill the player even after the puppet is broken. They can open doors as a mass of bugs. I don't even think you can even kill them as the bugs. So they're basically invincible, but still cautious even though they're invincible, just so they can lure you in and kill you more easily. With all that, which monster could possibly be smarter than those pests? Well, you've probably been paying attention and you know which monster it is by process of elimination, unless you skipped here. Then here it is. At my number 1 spot, I have the Old Bird. I don't know the psychology of the mass hornets, but I do know the Old Bird has rockets built into its hands. So that's already rocket science. It can fly, it can target onto enemies, it patrols areas, and it puts lights on dark areas so it's able to see. It has really good aim. It does this, and I'm pretty sure it's a baby because when it's going around crying, you can literally hear it crying. It's already crazy smart early in its age, disregarding the name. Also, I wouldn't put it past this thing if it had like GPT 700 or something like that. I think it makes sense to have an actual robot as the smartest monster in the game. And there you have it. That's my list. Do you agree with my list? Let me know what your list would be in the comments, and I appreciate everyone who clicked or made it this far into the video. If you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more tier lists, streams, and gaming videos on this channel. And yeah, see ya.